Welcome back, everybody. My name is Beyond Sadistic. With me in round number 3 is Cathor Farad. This is the MTGPL 4th Invitational, Legacy Invitational. How are you doing today, Cathor?
I had a long day of Magic behind me, and now I'm looking for some great Magic ahead of me. So it's a good day for some great Legacy matches. Looking forward to the players playing.
Yes, I totally agree. Today we have seen some awesome matches. I'm not gonna lie. We left our last one. Last round we had a goblins match that just didn't seem to happen. Abzan Reclaimer just doing its thing and just wrecking. It was absolutely incredible. This round, however, we've got what you guys have chosen. So we've got the Eternally Surprised on Jeskai Stoneblade, and Tensai is back in the feature match with Sneak and Show. Cathor, tell me how you feel about Sneak and Show in the meta right now.
I think Sneak and Show is a good deck. Sneak and Show is always strong, and the players say like when the matchup is in turmoil and things are changing for tournaments, go back to decks like Sneak and Show because they are good, consistent. They didn't get any good cards in the last few years. Now this changed. They got Ragavan, so they finally have a great addition to the deck. That's a win condition on their own. So this deck is really strong, and seeing what he's playing against with Eternally on Jeskai Stoneblade, Ragavan can flip some really good cards that he can also use. So
Correct.
if he finds a Umezawa's Jitte, this could be backbreaking for Eternally. So I think Tensei has multiple game modes. Just going on the Ragavan plan, going on the Sneak and Show, put in Show and Tell, the Emerald Cool, or just the Omniscience. So he has multiple alleys he can go into, and it's a strong deck. It's a really strong player. He has shown it multiple times. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to this.
I agree. And you bring a very interesting point up with Ragavan. We have two players that are playing Sneak and Show today, and one of them has Ragavan in the board, which is Rax, and the other one has Ragavan in the main deck, which is Tensai. And Ragavan in the main deck, being able to snipe things off the top, you are 100% correct. Especially with the mana base that Sneak and Show has, they are actually can cast this stuff very easily and bank that treasure token. They don't have to use that. So I think you are 100% there. I will say Jeskai Stoneblade definitely has a lot of tools that they can utilize to combat the Stink and Show creature package. But when you have things like Emrakul, if that's pretty much lights out for anybody, right?
Uh, Most likely. Let's take a look if he has anything to combat it. Is there? He's a Caracas, so that might maybe help.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't see a lot of good answers to an early Emrakul here. So it
Yeah,
will
I
be.
will. I will agree with you on that one. So it looks like we had a little bit. We had one of the wrong. One of the OBS Ninja links got switched. So we were looking at Quirio's board state. Now we are back to Tensai's. So
It would have been a fun commentary, making sense of it.
we have so many links going and so much other stuff. There's so much going on in the background just to make 16 rounds go and fire and be able to stream all of them seamlessly and be able to switch back and forth when we need to. The amount of table spotters we need and all the information going, it's impressive. And Mr. Jack Dax at the helm of all of this, just absolutely kicking ass. So we appreciate him and we appreciate all of you guys. If you would also like to join, we've got about almost 2,700 players now that are in the MTGPL. ! Discord in the chat. That will get you your very own personal link to come and play Paper Legacy with us over webcam. The world's a scary place. There's a lot of stuff going on. And with all of the new scares with COVID happening, a lot of people that were going to or starting to go to their local LGSs are now coming back, and there's a lot going on. So we're always here, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We've got our monthly leagues at Fire. We've got weekly challenges. We've got our Sunday Euro Pack. Timeline events or time slot events that happen that are a weekly challenge. Cathor is one of the judges that actually puts those events on, so that's super cool. But yeah, we are always here and ready to play Paper Legacy with y'all.
One players are still cutting their decks. Let's go into the theoretical side. If you would be part of the Invitational today, what deck would you bring?
So I have a few decks that I run in Paper. I probably would have been on Green White Depths, or I would have been on the Jund Madness deck. Jund Madness is my newest thing that I've been putting together. That deck is insanely impressive. Vintage wise, I love Bizarre Aggro, and the Jund Madness deck is like the coolest and closest version that I feel to that. It feels like the most powerful thing you can be doing, in my opinion. And I'm a sucker for discarding stuff. In pre-modern, I play blue-green Madness, so it's just one of those things that I really enjoy doing. How about yourself, Kethor? What would you have brought?
Um, I think like a lot of players expect me to play colorless, so I also have like my blue white like our Jeskai Miracles control deck. I have my Doomsday, but I still would have gone with my gut feeling of Dice Factory because this is the most fun deck I have had in a long time. And just like taking game actions, some players might have seen it on stream a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
It's
Legacy
fun.
Live.
It's easy to hate out, but like looking at the deck lists here, the players don't have too many like Green Sun Zenith um, collector oof things going on. So if you dodge some of those matchups, it would have been fine. And
Yeah.
it's just a fun deck to play overall.
I think dice is one of the dice and coin flipping. So we've got a lot of coin flipping going on with our recent sets, but dice and coin flipping are like what players gravitate to as that crazy stuff that they want to do, which I think is super cool because it's out of the norm from what you're doing. Now that we've got Forgotten Realms, we've got dungeons, and there's a lot of people that are gravitating towards that, and you get to roll a 20-sided die now instead of just a 6-sided die. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. I agree. Dice Factory is a really cool deck. I have played against it. I have seen it played in our Legacy Live weekly or semi-weekly events that we have right here on the MTGPL. I think it would have gone really good too. And it looks like we're just firing off our poll also for what you guys would like to see for our next round.
So we are good. Seems the players finally finished selecting their hands. Both players went down to 6 cards on hand, and they're ready to go. 10 size on the play, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep.
let's see if we see, not a monkey, but a ponder.
Yep. And Tensai will be on the play as he continues to win in the top bracket because he is the top seed going in. So that ponder really actually what I don't want to see my Sneak and Show opponent to have, to be totally honest. It's either they have it right away or them being able to sculpt.
Wasteland from Eternally side.
Very good.
So let's see. I mean, at least there's no Ancient Tomb into show and tell going on.
Correct. I would agree with you. That Wasteland is an absolute clutch play. That is can Sneak and Show players are very, very thin margin wise when they can go for it and when they can't. If you can put your opponent off and allow them to stumble, a lot of their opening hand decisions generally don't factor that in unless they're holding a Sneak and Show or holding a sneak attack in hand. So I really like the Wasteland. That was just a windmill slam Wasteland pretty much.
Do you agree with the like patch to a basic because Eternally plays 3 wastelands, so I had 2 wastelands left. Do you want to be safe, or do you think that's like the safe call if he has no more lands in hand and just really wants to keep his like lands mana going, or would you have been aggressive on the volcanic again?
I honestly think I probably would have been aggressive because at some point the Stoneblade player has to also play mana and continue to develop their board state. So I guess it depends on what the texture of Tensai's hand looks like. He may be rather strapped with cantrips and just wanting to be able to continually cantrip and draw and see more cards. So this being a brainstorm, that even shows that even more that he could have very, very well kept a cantrip heavy hand, hoping that he could just sculpt his way to a victory rather than having it in
So
his hand
it
right away.
looks to me that Eternally plays the plains and pass, so there's no Stoneforge Mystic, no 2-drop going on.
No,
Um,
I wonder what he kept. I bet he kept removal. I'd be willing to bet there because that's his easy way to fight against like a Grizzlebrand, for instance. Let's take a look at.
Maybe he also kept like a true name kind of hand and some kind of permission to fight off early show and tell.
I could also see maybe a Narset, because Narset would shut a Grizzlebrand completely down.
Okay. So Tensai is not shuffling here.
No. And now he's got the mana for show and tell.
Oh, here we go.
And that is going to be a show and tell. So here's a response, and that's going to be a daze with floating the blue mana. So he can, if he's got another daze in hand, he can actually cast. He does. So that is going to totally shut off that show and tell.
That
So so that's a really interesting play. That shows you why he did not play a Stoneforge, even if he did have it in his hand.
Yeah.
And now Tensai goes and fetches for the Volk. And I would agree with that here. It's time to be aggressive. Your opponent just double dazed you and tempoed themselves down. If they want to play a wasteland and wasteland you from here, you are you're still way ahead in terms of mana.
I really like this play from Eternally side.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So Tensai is down to 4 cards. At least 1 or 2 of them might be win conditions. So if
And
he
if he
has,
is stranded, if he's stranded those win conditions in his hand now, that he might be in a bit of trouble.
yeah, I mean he has the mana to play sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, he did have a wasteland, and he takes the tomb.
Wow.
So that means there's one more wasteland left in the Eternally Surprises deck.
Yes. I really like this because this Tensai needs another land. Oh,
Never mind.
but he can still not play sneak attack.
Very true. Very true. There's that. There's a meddling mage. This is going to be the key name right here, and that is going to resolve.
Okay. Do you want to take your guesses? What he's naming? Show and tell
Sneak attack or show and tell. One of the two, absolutely.
He named
he does
show and
name.
tell.
Yep, he does name show and tell. And there's an ancient tomb off the top. It looks like possibly.
Tensai is drawing a lot of lands here.
Yeah, he could be flooding out also.
Oh, that looks like sneak attack.
Oh no, it was the wrong name. And he does have the mana to activate it. Oh, and there's an Emrakul. Oh, wow. Yep, that's just going to scoop it up. That is really, really... Tensai just had it the whole time. The whole time.
He's not out of the game because, I mean, you can get back out of this if he's just not finding any any hitters.
Right.
But I mean, even Ragavan dashing is now a real threat.
Correct. The game's not over, though. It's so close. It's so close. Does he have another threat, though?
It looks like it.
Oh, it totally does. That could still...
Yeah.
That could still eat a Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah.
He is going to draw the 7 cards. And he is going to fetch. Yeah, even there's the Tundra. So I'm assuming he does have a Swords, but that literally gives him the opportunity to
7 more cards.
See so many cards.
Get new Emrakul. Activate again. Oh, this game is over probably.
Yeah, the being able to draw off Grizzlebrand. I mean, this is just snowball of value over snowball over value here.
What do you think? Like show and tell, like there were 3 left in his deck. Sneak attack, there were 3 left in his deck. It was literally a 50-50. So I don't think there's anything that you can do. And the upside was he only had 2 lands. Right. So if Tensai didn't find this ancient tomb, there was no way he would have been able to cast the sneak attack.
I agree. And Detertion, if that's our Deterkin, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I'm assuming he's playing a Ponder. Or
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. I was going to say,
Is he just passing? Or maybe he wants to hardcast Grizzleband next turn.
that could be also.
Dash in
It's got enough.
Ragavan, get a treasure, cast Grizzleband.
Oh, Jesus. There's the Emrakul.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Oh,
Wow.
so that's the first game in conclusion here. That was a good showing from Show and Tell what it's able to do, and Jeskai Stoneblade couldn't get pressure on the board.
No, and just kind of always from the behind position. So let's start and look at sideboards. You all can look at the sideboards as well with through Cardboard Live. What we're looking at right now is the Eternally Surprises Jeskai Stoneblade sideboard. Let me read it off to you, Cathor. 1 Engineered Explosives, 1 Blazing Volley, a Grafdigger's Cage, 1 Hydroblast, 1 Meltdown, 1 Pithing Needle, 2 Pyroblasts, 2 Surgical Extractions, 1 Containment Priest, a Lavinia, 1 Meddling Mage, 1 Wear Tear, and 1 Batter Skull. So what are the tools that the Eternally Surprised needs to bring in to help combat this super fast show and tell?
So we have Blast. That's an easy pick. You can counter forces, show and tell cantrips. You have Pithing Needle. You can name Sneak Attack. You can play Containment Priest in response to show and tell if you consider they might have might want to put a creature in their hand, but then they can still choose to not put a creature into play. Lavinia is pretty good against Omniscience. A Meddling Mage has a 50-50 chance to win, as we saw last turn. And maybe we want to find a Wear Tear because you can kill maybe a hate piece from Tensor's side, a treasure, and sneak attack at the same time. Because right now he has no real main deck answers against it, except for prismatic ending cast of a treasure with the Vagabond.
Right. I will agree with you 100% across the board. One thing I do see here is he actually has, or the Eternally Surprised, they have a ton of answers, which means they have a lot of different ways to attack. What do you take out with these things, like your 2 Pyroblasts, like your 1 Pithing Needle, like your Lavinia and your Containment Priest? That's 5 cards there. You've got your Wear Tear, which Wear Tear can actually do quite a bit of damage. Both sides, I think, are relevant here in this matchup, or can be. What do you take out for that?
I think I take out Mother Wounds because, like, in the main deck, Tensai has no real like big threats to the creatures. So if you put the creature on the board, you keep it. You don't need to protect it against swords or pass too much, I think, or like lightning bolts. So those are cards. Maybe True Name because it might be a little bit slow. Maybe Stone Forges if you want to reduce the clock, but the jitter can answer Ragavan.
Correct.
But I think it might be a little bit too slow. On the play, I would cut Swords to Plowshares a little bit because, I mean, you cannot kill the Emrakul and you want to prevent them from ever getting Grizzlebrand on the battlefield because he would draw like 7 to 14 cards.
Exactly. It's already too late.
And I don't know, do you bot out Force of Will because you get in Pyroblasts and other permission and hate pieces? Maybe a little bit on the value on the permission side.
Yeah, because you are pretty stacked permission wise. I would actually agree with that. With the fact that you're sitting on 4 days, 4 Force of Will, 1 Force of Negation, plus you do need the Pyroblast. It's just a cleaner answer. I think I would cut a Force of Will or 2. I could see that. On Tensai's side, Tensai's sideboard is 1 Engineered Explosives, 2 Carpet of Flowers, 1 Flusherstorm, 2 Grafdigger's Cages, 1 Pithing Needle, 2 Pyroblast, 1 Defense Grid, 1 Pyroclasm, a Sorcerer's Spyglass, 2 Blood Moons, a Partridge in a Pear Tree, and a Through the Breach. So what do you see coming in on Tensai's side?
I see Through the Breach. I see Pyroclasm because we have a few small threats on his side. Maybe the defense grid because there's a lot of permission in Eternally stack. Carpet of Flowers. Maybe if he's not seeing if he does not see them coming, it might be great to have you can just win by playing a single Carpet of Flowers, and that's your mana production for the rest of
Right.
the game. Maybe engineered, and probably some Pyroblasts to get rid of Narset.
Yeah.
And that should be it, I guess, because you don't really want the Spike Dust or anything like this. And the Blood Moon depends on the mana base from Eternity's side, because he only has 2 basics.
True. It is kind of greedy. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
It's one island and one plains.
And this would not be the first match Tensai wins off the back of Blood Moon, or loses on the because Blood Moon is on the other side of the battlefield. So
It
Blood Moon,
also it also shuts off his wastelands too,
yeah.
and his Caracas.
So let's get those Blood Moons going, I think.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
what would you take out?
I honestly think I would take out my Dazes. I think I would cut on Daze, and I would bring in the Pyroblasts, the Blood Moons. I think that's, and the Pyroclasm. I agree with those. I don't think maybe Defense Grid, I guess, especially considering you're up against a deck with a ton of with instant speed removal and permission. I could see that too. I think I would. Do you cut Veil of Summer? I think so.
I mean, it's kind of a cantrip.
Kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
your opponent is, they're probably cutting on blue spells. So I guess I would probably cut Veil of Summer.
I don't think I have. I'm not sure on this one. To be honest, I don't think my opinion on like my experience is enough to take a big stance. What would be right here?
Right.
So
I'll agree with that. And Dan TCG in the chat says Rax took me out. Have a great day, everyone else. A time to tend to family event. Dan, thank you so much for coming and playing today. I'm so sorry that Sneak and Show took Dredge down, but you are an absolute champion and a master of your craft, dude. Thank you so much for coming and playing.
started. Okay, so we see a mulligan to 6 on Eternity's side. Tensai keeps 7. We have a volcanic go.
With Eternally Surprised playing or leading out on the Volk and playing nothing, I was just gonna say, do you go get a basic or do you fetch for a duel here?
We might see the couple of flowers now, because he's getting a tropical,
Yeah,
and this is what I
it
was. Yep.
absolutely is. Yes,
So
which
there's
means
no forest in the deck.
no,
Okay,
and
end
that's
of
gonna
turn
be a
brainstorm.
brainstorm. Yeah,
But what do you think? Would you try to cast like fetch for non-island lands now on Eternally side? Because
I don't think you can. But here's the problem. I mean, you can to a certain degree, but how much are you putting yourself off by doing this? Um, I really think that's a really tough card for the Eternally Surprised to beat unless they brought Wear Tear in. Um,
kind of blanks every wasteland that he will draw, because like Tensai doesn't really care right now. Like,
no, he's got enough artifact mana, and with that alone, I think Eternally Surprised is kind of hurt themselves there. Or not. Let me rephrase that. Tensai's Carpet of Flowers is going to hurt Eternally Surprised quite a bit here.
okay, so we see another Skullington pass, not wanting to give Tensai the option to play too much, like use the couple of flowers to its fullest.
Right. And you can also oh wow, Ancient Tomb. He just has all the mana right now.
That's up to 5. So he could play Sneak and Show, like Sneak Attack, and activate it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that he gets 1 blue mana with a couple of flowers.
And he's gonna use that to brainstorm. And he already played out his Ancient Tomb, so whatever he plays here or whatever he draws here and puts on top, he's gonna be drawing next turn.
Yeah. I don't know what the sequencing is, if you should play Brainstorm before you play the land. But he might have his plans already set up,
I was gonna
regardless of
say
what
that as
he's drawing.
well. Does he even care about having a shuffle effect in
Yeah.
essence? Yeah, Oliver V in the chat showing off those MTGPL altars. Yeah, and you can also get a copy of our altars as well. If you come join the Discord, !Discord will get you a link, and you will be able to play in our Sunday or Saturday events and get one of those for your very self. Like you saw last round, Lightning Bolt will be the next one in the cycle that we make. Do we have a current standings area where we can see how well people are doing? Jukea says. And that's exactly what it is. It's ! Bracket. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it was. Yes, it is. ! Standings.
Thanks a lot, Jordan, who's doing a great job behind the scenes, streaming the whole event,
Yeah.
taking care of everything. So we see a defense grid on the stack, and Eternally flashes in Containment Priest. And we have another island
Right,
for
which
next
means
turn.
the defense grid is going to land, does resolve.
Yes.
Oh, I see. ! Bracket is a built-in command for Nightbot, it looks like, or MTG bot. That's funny. So a Misty Rainforest, that again can get you nothing but an island as well. So Carpet of Floor is just gaining a ton of value here.
Yes, and like Tensai finding his sideboard options here might be really crucial. The Containment Priest might do some work. Oh, Prismatic Ending. And do we choose the defense grid or the Carpet of Flowers?
No. So it looks like the Claristorix, it was 1 blue off of Carpet and he cast a Brainstorm. He put 2 back, and then he cast the Ancient Tomb to cast the defense grid. And then it was a fetch, and then got Tundra and cast a Containment Priest. And then that was during Tensai's turn. So I think it was basically to prevent a show and tell. Scalding Tarn for Tensai and just passes.
Okay, so maybe the Containment Priest is doing some real work here,
Yeah.
even if it's a slow clock.
Prismatic Ending, being able to take out that defense grid is, I think, the first step. Now, at least the Eternally Surprised can go and fetch for a non-island.
You can see Tensai has how many cards in hand? 4 cards in hand. Like if he has a Sneak and Show or like Show and Tell, Sneak Attack or Show and Tell, and he needs another card, that's always 2 cards. So if he exactly needs Force plus another blue card. So if Eternally can keep up Permission in his hand, I think Tensai will need to wait more turns to find like protection on his side.
So let's see. From the way the Table Spotter has it, Claristorix, defense grid was on the stack, yes. So I don't know. I think you're correct here. The Containment Priest is really just going to do the work. And honestly, Containment Priest has been a heavy hitter here.
Tensai has enough mana to hardcast a Force and pay for days, so maybe he's just waiting for permission to take his time to play something. Okay, so
he really needs to have an answer for the Containment Priest. I think once Tensai is able to unlock that, I think he's probably going to be off to the races.
yeah. But also no cantrips or anything like this, so he might be drawing mono lands. Oh,
there's a Ponder. Yeah, Prez, you are able to see the Jeskai Stoneblade deck in action. So if you're Tensai, what are you looking for right now off this Ponder?
what I'm looking for might be Pyroblast. I think Pyroblast is the best thing that you can have because it's like cheap answer that you don't need to have multiple cards in hand for. Like a force would be nice, but at the same time you still want to kind of win with more cards like on the stack without paying too many cards.
Sure. Do
But
you
he's
do
not
you think he's
shuffling,
digging for
so
a pyroclasm? If you brought that in,
I don't think so because you still have a lot of time, and I think
and maybe
going
that's
for your game plan, you can still win on with your game plan with a low life total.
right.
Oh,
Very true.
Hardcast Vagavan. Keep he's keeping open those 3 mana for Force of Negation Hardcast. Because would you have rather
Who's going to let that
dashed in the
resolve?
Vagavan?
Maybe not. Maybe the Eternally Surprise is not worried about removal right here. Maybe they're just waiting. Slow game plan, methodical. Make your opponent have the answers. You play the threats. I will say this: if Tensai does have a Pyroclasm, that's going to be a big blowout. I mean, that's 2 creatures right there. But I guarantee you that Eternally Surprise has probably got permission in hand too.
Most likely. And to be honest, like now Eternally has a really good 2-turn clock on the battlefield, and Tensei might want to use the Ancient Tomb. And even if he gets a Grizzleband onto the battlefield, he's not really able to draw too many cards here.
Okay, so we also have another update as well. Cosmic Coil, which is on Bomberman, was versus Dewookie, which was on Moon Stompy, and was just eliminated 2-0. So Dewookie has played their last match for today.
That's unfortunate. And also we have the result from Wax and Daniel, where Wax won against Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Okay, so I guess Tensai is having a little bit of audio issues, but they did play Regavan and pass. Silver Seeker and Nadu, thank you so much for the follows. Welcome in. So Tensai with his own Regavan here.
What do you take out with the Wasteland? Do you take anything out, or you just want to keep the mana?
Well, I definitely wouldn't take out the Ancient Tomb because you can use that, leverage that to your advantage here.
Okay.
Um,
So Eternally is
double
fetching.
fetching.
Okay. So Fearless, no fear of even Mind Sensor
Or
or
Stifle,
Opposition Agent.
which
What do you think?
I don't,
Hardcast
yeah.
Better Skull? What do you expect from Eternally's side?
I think that would be a fantastic card to play, to be totally honest. I guarantee you it's going to eat permission though. Tensai's been holding a lot of cards in hand here. Both players with, I mean, just a lot of cards to be able to utilize.
Okay, so Eternally is just preparing for fighting on the stack because he doesn't want to leave Tensai the option to do something while he's fetching.
Looks like the Regavan's traded,
Yes.
and there's a Stoneforge.
Okay, he's using the Wasteland because I think Tensai has infinite mana right now. Wasteland is not the card you want to be using right now.
I agree. He pretty much played into that when he went and got a Tundra instead of a Plains also. So I don't think Eternally Surprise is really worried about the Carpet of Flowers at this point. I think you are absolutely correct. You just look at it as they have infinite mana. I'm not going to be able to stop them from that. And
Yes.
goes and gets them Cauldron Complete, correct? Yes.
Okay.
And Cauldron Complete is a newer card from Modern Horizons 2. If you guys have not seen this card, this is an absolute house. It is a 7 mana equipment. It's a living weapon with indestructible. And equipped creature gets +5/+5. It has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature with an equip cost of 7.
So I think we are close to hardcasting Grizzlebrand right now.
That very well could be what
Because
Tensai is
we
building
have
up towards.
4 black
Mhm.
and maybe hardcasting Emrakul? No,
Oh,
hardcasting Omniscience. You love to see it.
that's a yeah. How do you? Clearly, there's an answer for this card, and there's a brainstorming response.
Okay.
This might be exactly what needs to happen to change the tide of this match back to Tensai's favor.
So do you think it was a mistake to double fetch, give Tensai 2 additional mana?
Well, it's going to depend here. So there's a force of negation first on the stack, or a second on the stack, exiling a ponder. That puts the Eternally Surprised down to 2 cards in hand with only 2 mana up. There's going to be a force in response, pitching a force. So that shows you that I would say there's probably no more blue cards, or I would have kept one of those forces to be able to answer back.
Well, it's like he needs to have Emrakul right now to kind of win the game, but even then, Eternally has 7 permanents.
There's Emrakul.
If he whips a white source, or like any land, he can still win because Tensai is down to 5 life, if I'm not mistaken. He gets an additional turn,
Yes.
but if he's only able to attack with Emrakul, he has to respect the equipment, the card or complete.
Yes. Omniscience resolving is huge. Absolutely huge.
So what do you sacrifice? I think Stoneforge and
I get rid of my
Tundra are
islands.
left.
I'd absolutely get rid of my islands.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually the perfect opportunity for the Eternally Surprised to rewind that Carpet of Flowers. However, Tensai's got a lot of land already, too.
Isn't how many permanents does Eternally have on the battle? Was it 7 or was it 8?
It was 8. Now they have 7. Or now they have
Okay,
1.
so there's no way to. Okay, he found the land, but he had 1 permanent to view.
Yes.
So Tensai is able to take it down right here.
Yeah.
I think because he can fetch for Tundra, go down to 1, but there's still 1 mana missing to win the game.
Yes.
That was close. That got really close because like one's more permanent on Eternity's side would have won them with the game immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. So that is going to do it for the Eternally Surprised. Tensai is going to take down another match with Sneak and Show, just ripping it up today. 2 players on Sneak and Show just actually beating face.